Watch, for which I'm joined by James Creedon. Hello, James.
Good evening, Tom.
Now, the detention of David Miranda at Heathrow Airport on Sunday has caused quite a lot of friction, a lot of finger-pointing. Brazil furious with Britain.
Right.
And the man in question, the man at the heart of the story, Glenn Greenwald, saying he's going to reveal even more than ever before now.
That's right. It's certainly a controversial one. I think we have the pictures of Mr. Miranda returning to Rio de Janeiro earlier today. That was after a 9-hour detention under terror legislation in Britain. I suppose one of the most controversial aspects of this too is that he was detained in Britain, and the NSA leaks, which is what at the centre of this controversy. Glenn Greenwald having revealed Edward Snowden's surveillance leaks via The Guardian, etc. But that's a US internal issue, you would have thought, right? Except, I suppose, some of those leaks concerned other countries around the world. Anyway, Greenwald is saying not even the mafia target family members. In other words, that this is terror legislation being completely abused for the wrong purposes. Other journalists at The Guardian have weighed in behind their colleague and said, is Glenn Greenwald's journalism now viewed as a terrorist occupation? That's what Simon Jenkins said. Regarding that. Over at The Telegraph, David Miranda's detention is not as sinister as it sounds. That's according to Rob Crilly, their Pakistan correspondent. So he is focusing more on the issue of the terror legislation under which he was held. He said, look, NSA leaks. He was probably acting as a document mule for Glenn Greenwald, who had, there were documents being transferred, it seems, via his partner to Berlin, where another journalist who has been working on the NSA leak stories is based. So from his point of view, from Rob Crilly's point of view, his detention, maybe there's some legitimacy to it, but it's the legislation he was held under, where you can be held for 9 hours without any justification. That's what he has an issue with. Now, even some Tory, the former Shadow Home Secretary David Davis has said really that there is an issue for press freedom here. So I suppose certainly Downing Street will be under pressure to answer whether it was politically motivated as a detention.
Certainly generated lots of mileage, that story.
Yes.
We definitely haven't heard the last of that one. Now, Le Monde has an editorial in which they're asking, should the Winter Games at Sotchi be boycotted? What's all this about? Put this into context.
Well, I think, first of all, let's take a look at these pictures, Tom, which I think very much contextualise that these are two Russian athletes in the 4x400 metre relay sharing a kiss yesterday at the end of the Moscow World Championships. Now, you could say it was just a friendly kiss, who knows? But in the context of the times where a Swedish athlete earlier in the week had painted her nails in the rainbow colours, the whole notion of whether Russia is being too hard on what would you say, clamping down on what they call gay propaganda, which gay rights activists are saying, actually, no, it's not gay propaganda at all, is under the spotlight. Now, for Le Monde, they're saying it's as simple as this. The Sotchi Olympics next year is a moment when this can be put under the spotlight. And for Western democracies, they need to basically threaten not to come to the opening ceremony unless Russia makes advances in the meantime on human rights issues. For example, the whole notion of, I suppose, this gay propaganda law, which has been getting so much criticism. So just to give you a direct quote from that editorial, they're basically saying we need to make it the games of freedom, and so Putin wants to make the Sochi Games the games of forgetting about his authoritarianism, forgetting about his crushing all forms of protest. They're making a comparison basically with the Beijing Games as well, and they're saying that in the Beijing Olympics, Beijing used the opportunity as an opportunity to make a lot of people forget about what had happened in Tibet sometime before that, a lot of repression in Tibet. So Le Monde is saying don't let that happen in Sochi.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed for that. That was Media Watch. I'll be back in 3 minutes from now with all the top stories, including, of course, our very top story, the situation in Egypt, which we're following very closely. Do stay tuned for that.